The Zephyrian High Council had made their calculations with meticulous precision. Every variable accounted for, every possibility explored. The human ship Defiance had crossed into their territory without permission, and like all trespassers, it would meet the ultimate punishment, obliteration by the artificial black hole that served as both their most sacred monument and their most feared weapon. Admiral Kethavar watched through the crystalline viewport as the human vessel, pathetically small compared to their mighty dreadnoughts, was inexorably pulled toward the event horizon. The humans had tried to reverse thrust, tried to break free, but physics was absolute. Nothing escaped the devourer of stars, as they called it. Nothing. Primitive species, muttered Council Member Vexithul, his 4 eyes tracking the doomed ship. They barely understand quantum mechanics, yet they dare traverse the void between stars. Perhaps this lesson will teach their kind to know their place. The other council members clicked their approval, a sound like chittering insects that echoed through the observation chamber. For 3,000 years, the Zephyrians had ruled this sector of space. Their technology was beyond most civilizations' comprehension. Their military might unquestioned. They had seen species rise and fall, watched empires crumble to dust, and through it all they remained supreme. Humans were just another upstart race that needed to learn respect. The Defiance crossed the point of no return, its hull beginning to stretch as the tidal forces took hold. Admiral Kethavar expected to see it torn apart molecule by molecule, as every other vessel that had ever challenged them. Instead, something impossible happened. The ship stopped. Not slowed. Stopped. Dead still, hovering at the event horizon, as if the black hole's infinite gravity was nothing more than a gentle breeze. Sensor malfunction, Kethavar declared, though his voice carried less certainty than his words suggested. Recalibrate immediately. The sensor technician, a young Zephyrian named Kixmol, worked frantically at his console. Sir, sensors are functioning normally. The human vessel has somehow stabilized. Through the viewport, they watched in growing unease as a single figure emerged from the human ship. No spacesuit, no protective gear, just a human in simple clothing, walking across the hull as if it were solid ground instead of metal being subjected to forces that should have liquefied every atom. The figure looked directly at their observation station, raised a hand in what the Zephyrians' universal translator identified as a greeting, and then did something that shattered 3 millennia of absolute certainty about the nature of reality. The human jumped into the black hole. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Vexthul's mandibles clicked in rapid-fire panic. Impossible! The readings must be wrong. But the readings were correct. Long-range sensors tracked the human as they fell past the event horizon, into a region where space and time became so distorted that conventional physics ceased to have meaning. The council watched, transfixed, as the figure's life signs impossibly remained stable. Hours passed, then days. On the 7th day, the black hole began to behave strangely. Its accretion disk flickered. Energy readings fluctuated wildly. Then, to the absolute horror of everyone present, something emerged from the event horizon. The human walked out of their black hole. Not flew, not was ejected by some impossible mechanism. Walked, casually, as if stepping through a doorway rather than defying every law of physics the Zephyrians held sacred. The figure floated through space toward their station, still breathing, still alive, completely unprotected from the vacuum. When they reached the docking bay, the human waited politely for the atmospheric barriers to engage before stepping inside. Admiral Kethavar met the intruder in the reception chamber, flanked by his most elite guards. The human was smaller than he expected, barely reaching his chest plates with pale skin and an unremarkable appearance that belied the cosmic impossibility they had just witnessed. I'm Commander Sarah Chen of the UEF Defiance, the human said, as calmly as if introducing themselves at a dinner party. I believe we need to talk. You? Kethavar's translator struggled with the concepts his mind was trying to process. You survived passage through a black hole. How? Chen shrugged, a gesture the Admiral's cultural database identified as indicating casual indifference. Practice, Turns out humans are more durable than most people think. We've been walking out of impossible situations for about 200,000 years now. Black holes are just the latest addition to the list. That's scientifically impossible. So was everything else we've done, Chen replied. Flight, space travel, faster than light communication, artificial intelligence, surviving extinction events, creating art in a universe that's fundamentally hostile to life. Humans don't really care about impossible. We just care about what needs doing. She gestured toward the viewport where her ship waited, somehow having freed itself from the black hole's grip and restored its perfect hull integrity. Now, I was delivering a message from Earth's diplomatic corps before your people tried to execute me. Something about establishing trade relations and cultural exchange. Are you still interested in talking, or should I head back and let them know the Zephyrian Empire prefers the stick to the carrot? Admiral Kethvar looked at this small, soft creature who had just walked out of certain death as if it were an afternoon stroll. He thought about 3,000 years of Zephyrian dominance, their conviction that they were the pinnacle of evolution in this galaxy. Then he thought about what other impossible things these humans might be capable of. Please, he said, his voice barely a whisper. Let's talk. Commander Chen smiled, and somehow that simple expression was more terrifying than any weapon the Zephyrians had ever faced. Because in that moment, Kethvar understood the truth that would reshape their understanding of the universe. Humans weren't fragile because they could be killed. They were terrifying because they refused to stay dead, and now they wanted to be friends.